Almost involved in an accident? Strange breezes blowing in places they physically shouldn't be able to? Other near victims of that accident dying in gruesome, elaborate Rube Goldberg-like fashion? Call me. Hi, I'm attorney Spotless Waters, and I defend people like you against death. If you weren't a part of the accident, you beat death fair and square, but death insists that you cheated and is trying to get you anyway. That's where I come in. I'll fight for you against that greedy death. I will give you a path to victory, just like I've done for 25 years after my cousin, Clear, was unfairly taken by death after fairly beating him. I've defended several people against death to varying degrees of success. Just take a listen.
I was driving when a hysterical driver stopped their car on the on-ramp, claiming a massive pileup was about to happen. After a deadly pileup did happen, I considered myself lucky, until the people in front of me started dying horrible, convoluted deaths many days later. So I called attorney Spotless Waters, and he was able to prove I was not at fault for avoiding the accident, and death was ordered to leave me be and let me live. Not today, death.
I was supposed to take the metro to work one day when a kid started screaming about the train crashing. Being naturally paranoid, I got off the train and thereby avoided dying in a fiery train wreck. A spooky black mortician told me death was coming for me because he said I had cheated. So I called Spotless Waters, who was able to prove in court that I hadn't cheated by pleading ignorance to death's grand scheme, and I was granted a restraining order against death. I've been alive now for 10 long years, and it's all thanks to Spotless. You guys feel that? That was the AC, right? Tell me that was the AC! I had a very vivid daydream that the roller coaster I was riding was gonna crash. So I got off the coaster immediately, and then it crashed. Once I started having more omens of death and feeling strange wind where there wasn't any windows, I called Spotless Waters. He was able to argue that since I didn't intentionally have those visions of death, I wasn't really cheating. And even when the party responsible for providing me with those visions didn't testify in court, he was still able to win me 300,000 hours of life. Sure, I may have pretty consistent anxiety attacks when I remember how literally numbered my days are down to the exact hour, but at least I have a life right now, thanks to Spotless. I've even been able to defend people who were unjustly taken by death because it's never too late for justice.
I got off a plane that ended up crashing, and a few days later I was hit by a bus while crossing the street, killing me instantly. My parents contacted Spotless Waters and was able to prove that death was guilty of stealing me. The area the bus came from was originally filled with construction vehicles, so there's no way the bus could have actually come from that direction, which meant death manifested a bus out of nowhere to kill me. The judge ordered me to be released from death's custody and back into the world of the living. But death had my memory erased, so everyone keeps asking me what it's like to be dead now, and I don't know! Stop asking me that! If someone asks me that again, I'm just gonna have death come back for me.
But I should warn you, not everyone has a good case because not every death is cheating death. I once had the parents of 2 teenage girls who survived a roller coaster crash approach me after the girls died when their tanning beds malfunctioned. But they had brought Slurpees into the room with them, and the condensation caused the beds to malfunction. Death barely had to do a thing, so there's no way that case was winnable. I had another guy approach me after a friend of his survived a bridge collapse and then died after falling while getting acupuncture. So I'll tell you what I told him. Please don't do crazy things after surviving a near-death experience. At that point, it's so hard to prove that you weren't asking for it. But regardless, every person has free will, and not one person knows death's grand scheme. So how can anyone be held responsible if things don't go according to death's plans? If you survived a huge near-death experience, give me a call at 47, and I'll make sure you can beat death again in court. I'll fight hard to win you the chronological compensation you're entitled to. Spotless Waters, I'll with death for you, Mac Daddy.